Hey everybody, I'm back for video 76 of 365. My name is Samantha, I'm a therapist, and I'm sitting outside in about 100-degree weather right now, so it's really actually nice in the shade. It feels really good actually. It's beautiful today. Oh my gosh, I just love being out here. It's so much nicer than being cooped up in the office, so here I am. So let's see. So yes, if you're new here, I started the channel for lots of purposes actually, but one of them was to get over my fear of public speaking and social anxiety, because I've kind of suffered with social anxiety for my whole entire life, really. And so this is helping me kind of come out of my shell and refine my message that I want to get out, or my messages, I guess, that I want to get out, and help more people than I'm doing one-on-one. So I love the one-on-one work so much, but I want to help more people. So yeah, today I thought I would talk about a subject that's been coming up the last couple of days in personal life and professional life. So, and that is the ye ol' specific person, the old SP. So this one is really interesting. I want to just tell everyone that whatever you think about someone, they can feel it coming off of you. They can really feel it. So be careful what you're thinking about people. And I didn't really realize that that was a thing. I mean, I always was able to feel people's energy ever since I can remember, and kind of like see what was underneath what their words were saying. And I could just feel things. But I realized that if you're not looking, well, actually I said this the other day, I was like, put your God glasses on. And there is something to that. People can feel what you're thinking about them. You could be, I don't know, you could just have a thought about them like, I don't like them, or I didn't like their opinion. It could just be a flash, like, or I'm jealous of them, or I'm angry at them, I don't like them, whatever the case is. Carrying resentment, that's another thing, anger and resentment from the past. If you have a past with a specific person, which I think most of us do, and maybe a present and a past with someone, and it makes it really hard because you're holding on to that resentment from whatever they have seemingly done to you, or the issues that you've had. Maybe you didn't feel heard, or maybe you didn't feel safe talking to the person. That's something that I've been hearing and have dealt with recently, where if you don't feel safe to talk to the person, then you're going to be defensive. Your ego is going to come out and say, I'm protecting you, so I'm just going to pop out so you don't, feel unsafe, basically. So it kind of makes you feel safe when you're defensive, obviously. But that's never healthy for you, and it's never going to, well, it's actually going to cause toxic relationship patterns, really. And that's kind of where it kind of starts, I think, because in childhood we learn how to discern between what's safe, what's not. We're trying to survive our environment, and we're being programmed by our parents and the people around us, and so that can get misconstrued because other people's opinions kind of infect us when we're a kid, and we don't really have our own opinions, or we're not allowed to have our own opinions because we're just a kid. So we don't know any better. And so we create those neural pathways in our brains that say, I'm not good enough, or I'm not lovable, whatever the case is. I'm the only one that gets blamed. I do everything wrong. I'm bad. Whatever the core negative belief is, it just creates a neural pathway. And also in childhood, we learn certain relationships are safe or not. And so if you had a parent that was abusive or neglectful, or maybe even overly strict, you just created these beliefs about yourself through the way you were treated and raised. People don't know, some parents obviously don't know what they're doing. They say there's no book for parenting. There's tons of parenting books, but there's no one way to do it, as we all know. So we all make mistakes in all areas of life. We're human. But it's just what our brains produce when we're a kid. It's just like we have an event that happens and we say, well, this means this about me. We don't know we're doing it. It's subconscious. And then whenever we become an adult and we have a relationship and that partner triggers us, it's almost like we blame them. When really, if we remember, we're creating our reality through our assumptions and through our consciousness, what we are aware of. So I want you to really ask yourself, what are you assuming about yourself? What are you assuming about someone else? You might be assuming that I'm unsafe with this person, emotionally or even physically. I just feel unsafe. I don't know why. And then one thing to start doing is saying, I'm safe within myself. I started doing that a long time ago. And that really helps you feel just better, more powerful, because the power is within you and we're giving it away to someone else. We're basically saying, here's my power, take it. And then we get mad about it. And we still are mad at them. We gave them our power. That's why we're so mad. We're mad at ourselves. We're not really mad at that other person. So when you kind of take the responsibility, not the blame, but the responsibility of, man, I have power over this. This is awesome. I can decide. I can choose whether I'm going to internalize this or if I'm going to, give it away and outsource my power. So I think it's just really important to remember, what am I assuming about this person, whoever the person is. Really put your God glasses on. And God is love and God is consciousness. So it's like, whatever you decide about this person in front of you, that's what they're going to feel. They will say to you, I don't know why I feel this way. I just do. And you'll be like, what? I don't feel that way about you. But when you really look at your thoughts and your assumptions, go through them, because there's probably something in you that is causing an energetic movement where they're feeling it. And because in quantum physics, it's called the observer effect. So they measured that by putting, atoms underneath a microscope, and different scientists would look at them. And as different scientists observed them, they would change. And so that's the observer effect. Whatever, however we observe something changes it. And so we are made of atoms and energy and all of that. And so when you look at a person, they can feel what you're thinking and feeling about them, because that's how powerful we are. We're just energy. And you are them and they are you. That's another thing. I think it's just really important to look at people with love and grace. And I think we all deserve that. I think we all deserve respect. And it takes intentional decisions to do this. And maybe even telling the other person, my intention is to come from my heart, not my ego. And let's have a conversation from that space with intention, so that we don't go off the rails and start talking about the past. And so, and I say the past is like, 1 second ago. Because I had someone ask me, well, what is defined as the past? I was like, technically 1 second ago even. Because if we're holding on to something that happened last week or 10 years ago, then we're holding that resentment in our bodies. And that does eventually turn into, it's dis-ease. That's the feeling of, it's just dis-ease. And then it turns into disease in the body. And so resentment is probably one of the worst emotions. And it's, to me, worse than anger. It's kind of like you just start almost hating the person, and that is terrible. And it's about letting go of resentment, which is forgiveness. When you forgive someone, you are letting go of resentment. That's all that it means. It doesn't mean that they're off the hook. It means you're actually willing to let go of that feeling and get it out of your system. And a lot of people have trouble forgiving, and that's just the easiest way for me to define it. It's like, it's a decision to let go of resentment so you can free yourself from this ball and chain that you're attached to with this person. It's like, Dr. Phil, I remember him saying, do you want to be married or do you want to be right? Or do you want to be right or do you want to be married? And I was like, I always held on to that. And because the ego wants to be right. And what if we just all came from love and loved people and looked at them from a different perspective? Like, I had to catch myself. I was joking with somebody about something, and I was like, oh my God, that was so negative. I just caught myself. I was like, nope, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, that is not even, it was just a habit. And then I was like, no, I don't want to be that person anymore. And so I think that it's just really, really important to remember grace. Just give yourself grace, give other people grace. We all deserve that. And also, are you judging yourself and are you judging others? Think about that. Is it like, where is that coming from? What is this person in front of you today? What do they remind you of in your childhood? Because there's something there. There's some sort of feeling there that's attached. And it could just be a feeling that you might not even be able to identify, but maybe someday you can. But maybe it's just that feeling like, oh, this feels icky. And maybe that's all you can kind of define from it. This just feels icky, or this feels bad. I don't know why. And then eventually you can get curious and you'll learn it for yourself. You'll know what it is as you kind of dig deeper into that. But yeah, I just think when that gets, I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Just be very, very intentional about looking at people from a different perspective on purpose. It's thinking on purpose. That's what we have to do to change anything. It's just, we have to think on purpose with an end goal in mind. And we don't know the outcome of things. Remember that. No insistence on an outcome. It's just like, this would be great if this happens. And produce the state from within, how you want to feel, how you want this person to be towards you, how you want, the relationship to be when you're together, things like that. You act as if you already have that, and you live from that end, as Neville Goddard says. Live from the end of already having something, remain in the state, and then the invisible will become visible. And I just love that. It's like, stay true to your vision of what you're wanting, and go within first, change self. How do you want to feel? How do you want to think about you? Because I've always thought, like, if somebody else is judging somebody, or they're like really just kind of an unhappy person, that they're probably or they're making fun of people or whatever they're doing, it's like, that person is probably not very happy. So if you're doing that, you might not be very happy. And I'm telling you, you can change that today. You can literally decide, I'm going to be a happy person. I'm not going to be this way anymore. I'm going to just start to love people, start to forgive people. And that might start with forgiving yourself first. Maybe you have resentment towards yourself. So let go of that resentment towards you. And then that will help you be able to start letting go of resentment towards others as well. And they will feel that. Whatever energy you're putting off on them, they will feel that. They will report back and let you know. And you're like, oh God, was I really doing that? And you look within and you're like, yeah, I did have some of those negative thoughts about this person. How terrible. And so then you start to just kind of figure it out, like, oh yeah, I do have a pattern of this, and I do have a belief about this. And I feel like if you kind of get curious more and more about these things, you just get more intimate and closer with yourself, which allows for more intimacy and closeness with others. And I just think there's just nothing better than that. When you start to just feel really great about who you are within, and you start to create that foundation of just an awesome self-concept, there's nothing that feels better than that. $1 million doesn't feel better than that, I promise you. It doesn't. You just feel unshakable, unstoppable, unlimited, limitless, all those words. And that's what I recommend you guys do. If you're trying to manifest a specific person, watch what you're thinking about them. Intentionally, like, set an intention. I'm going to look at this person from my heart. If you wear glasses, take them off. Act like you're putting on new ones. Putting on your God glasses. Because God loves everyone. So we got to love everybody too. But it starts with loving yourself at first too. And that might be a practice for you to start putting on your God glasses and looking at you first and loving you. And looking in the mirror. I always recommend looking in that mirror and saying I love you to yourself, and see how you feel doing that. A lot of people have a hard time with that, and that's why I recommend doing it over and over and over again. YouTube is uncomfortable for me too, or it was, not really anymore, but I did it anyway. You just do things anyway because you just got to punch fear in the face and do it anyway. So, and then eventually you get confidence. So with self-love, you'll get confidence as you start to talk to yourself differently. And as you start to see yourself differently, you're actually feeling what you're saying to yourself and what you're seeing in the mirror. You're feeling that energy too. It's like you're thinking it, saying it, and just putting it back into your being every time. And we don't want all that. We want better for ourselves because we deserve everything. You deserve the best of everything. And that starts with seeing you in the best light ever first. So, and then your specific person, you got to let go of pride. I think that's the biggest thing. And letting go of the past. It's really hard for people to let go of the past because they feel like if I just stop thinking about this thing, that I am letting them get away with it. And I want you to just toss that to the side for a second and think about, what is this doing to me if I'm holding on to this? Is my holding on to this keeping me away from this person or making this person come closer? Really, really think about that. I just think that it is very important to let go of anything you're holding on to that could be stopping you from living literally your best life. And there's so much crazy crap that we hold on to that just has no space left anymore. If you've been holding on to something for years, especially for years, it's like you get to decide what day you let go of that. And how about that day is today? You get to decide that. And when you decide to do that, you're going to feel a lot different. And you're going to start looking at people in a different light. And that's what I want for you, is that lighter feeling instead of that heavy feeling of the old thoughts and the old story that we're taking into the now. And you can't create a new you with the old story. You can't create you coming back with a specific person in a relationship from the same story, because you're going to be the same person, and they're going to be the same person too. If you want a different relationship, you got to be a different person. So start thinking about who you want to become and align your thoughts and beliefs and actions with that, and you will become it. And it's amazing how fast it can happen too, and how much better you feel. But it's just a decision. Just decide that I'm just going to let go of this. Like, what if I did let go of this? What could I spend my time and energy on versus thinking the bad stuff? And this person's feeling it too. And sometimes we want an apology. We want them to take responsibility. We want closure. We want justice. Sometimes you just have to give that to yourself. Sometimes you just have to say, you know what? Justice is me actually letting go of this. That's what justice is. Injustice is holding on to it and feeling miserable for years and complaining about it and blaming somebody and being basically in victim mentality. I look at that as poverty consciousness, victim mentality, lack, scarcity mindset. That's really what that is lack. If you want to just look at it as a whole, it's a lack mindset. So we want abundance mindset. So love is abundance. So either you're looking at someone with love or hate, or fear or love, or whatever the case is. Decide that you're going to look with love and appreciation, and it's going to change your whole game for you. And this is really a game that you're playing. So just have fun, and you're creating all of this. So, and whoever's meant to hear this will hear this today, and hopefully this has spoken to you in the way that you needed to receive it. And please share it with someone if you think they might benefit. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And don't melt if it's hot where you are. I think it's hot pretty much everywhere today. So don't melt. Stay hydrated. Drink your water. It's very important to stay hydrated. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much.